Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Trading Market Technicals morning call video for Tuesday, December 18th. Well, we had a nice little update yesterday. Pretty benign most of the day until the end of the day, getting into the close. Markets had some pre-market strength early on, bouncing around the S&P futures from 2.5 to 5 handles. And then we did gap up, rallied a little bit, sold off, and then consolidated into the close. The last half hour, we had a good short covering rally and closed out just about at its highs. Dow Jones up 100, S&P 16, NASDAQ 39. This is all on the assumption that the fiscal cliff is going to get resolved before the end of the year. There were talks about Biden and Obama meeting several times yesterday. So the markets are assuming this fiscal cliff issue will be resolved. Therefore, we had a nice little pop. Okay, so yesterday was a very quiet day until most of the indexes, the ETFs, were really moving. A lot of stocks, I didn't see much movement in stocks. High beta stocks like Apple, Amazon, they were moving a little bit. So if you are a trader of those equities, you probably did well. Okay, so we had our pullback, 1 to 3 day pullback, like I mentioned early last week. Very quiet, orderly pullback. Markets weren't afraid. There was no fear. And then I mentioned that's why we're going to look, therefore we're going to be bullish going into the next couple of weeks. Now, it's going to be interesting because once they do announce that the fiscal cliff issue is resolved, now we only have basically just under 2 weeks of trading left before the end of the year. Does the market give us one more sell-off, or do we rally into the end of the year? And again, this video is going to be brief because there's really not much to tell. Nothing really has changed. The only factor is that we're at the upper end of the resistance, at my resistance area of 1424, 1428, even 30, call it if you will. And we need to break this slanted neckline that's in front of you in the S&P 500 cash. So my guess is that we're coming into seasonal strength. We do have the January effect, Santa Claus rally. And if everything is getting resolved and Apple does start to rally a little bit, and we had early morning talks about how Samsung Korea is going to drop several of their lawsuit patents in several countries, well, Apple actually tacked on a couple of bucks on that. So if we get some positive news coming in, then I don't see any reason why market should sell off and at least test the highs here at the 1480 area. And this is right up in here, 1466, 1470 area. That'll be the high for the year, and then next year we'll have to reevaluate it. But if you're swinging, if you're a swing trader, position trader, I would be very cautious looking to get short. If anything, I'd be looking to build a position on dips before the end of the year. If you're day trading, obviously, if you're short, relative weakness to the market, that's fine. So just a quick note and word of caution about being short. I have several individuals that call me and mention that they like to be short this market at resistance. That might work, but I'm not that type of trader. We like to trade the trend and then get a reversal and then trade that reversal. So right now the trend is clearly up. We have this bearish rising wedge. We have this slanted neckline, the slanted resistance area, but we haven't broke through it yet. But we do have an outside day reversal with a big engulfing candle. Sometimes we get a little bit of a pullback, maybe 50% of that, 1420, and then the next day we rally. That does not have to happen, especially that we had a 3-day pullback here. As you can see here, 1, 2, 3, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and Monday we popped again. So I'm on the lookout for the low. A 1410 break lower would get me more bearish. A break above yesterday's high and a break really above this trend line, 1440, call it if you will. 1440 on a break higher would get me bullish, and I'd be looking to buy dips aggressively into the end of the year for a 1470 target. Okay, now that's the S&P cash. Let's talk about the spiders. I like to show you with volume. Volume has been true the last four days. 127 million per day, basically, give or take. So that's fine. We haven't had a drop in volume. But we had that 3-day sell-off that I was looking for, and we did have that reversal. So let's see if we can get past this area at 144, call it. 144 up in this area would get me more bullish in the spiders. And then, of course, the test of this high here would be, let's bring this across, 147. So 144 would test the highs for the year at 147. A break below 141 would get me bearish, and I'd be looking to be selling rallies. Okay, so that's the numbers on the spiders. Just want to show you the IWMs. Nice outside day reversal here from Friday. We actually got a little bit of a pop Friday. So Friday we're testing, and the Russell has been resilient. Believe it or not, they've been really resilient. If you can see this big gap up, now these gaps eventually get filled. Okay, we did fill this one gap here, but we have a gap here and we have a gap down here. Okay, so eventually they'll get filled. At one point we don't know, but let's just keep an eye on what's happening with the Russell. I like risk on a break above here, above 84, call it. 84 would get us a test of this cluster area here, this old head and shoulders pattern. So I like the way I see the risk on. The McClellan oscillator, I'm not going to show you because nothing really has changed. We're still in the middle of the range. Plenty of room to run before we get overboard, or plenty of room to run to the downside, sell off before we get oversold. Now, here's a good point in Apple. Here's what we have in Apple. And I have my Bollinger Bands here, like I always like to trade these Bollinger Bands. We had an outside day here. We pierced it. We broke outside it, and we came back in the band. We had a lower low, from this high here. We did not pierce it, the Bollinger Band, which telling me that we have strength. Now, we did test that 500. We broke that 505 area here from the several weeks back, and now we have a big reversal candle outside the reversal. Very bullish. That does not mean Apple's going to test the highs. If anything, I'm looking for a test of the 20 or the 200 around 577, 578, even 600. And then I would reevaluate it, because then I would monitor what the volume's doing. But a good sign that Apple has bottomed for a trade, a nice shortable bottom, which would help the market itself. So let's see what happens in the coming days. Again, guys, we're going to keep these videos short for the next week, for the rest of the remainder of the year, because unless something really dramatic happens, which I don't see. The only thing that I'm watching, I want you to keep in mind, if the fiscal cliff issue is resolved, I want to see if they sell the news. If they sell the news, then we could get a little bit of a sell-off. I'm not sure if that's going to happen, so we're going to have to take that one day at a time, okay? Have a great day, everybody, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Take care.